everyone, I am Mecha Random 42, your favorite YouTube Harvey, huge Godzilla fan. You guys have been wanting me to rip Rotten Tomatoes a new one for this, so let's get into it. The critics hate Godzilla, King of the Monsters. The fans love it. This is one of those movies that I like to use an example. This is a niche of a niche. This is a niche of the sort of... This is like a niche sci-fi movie, you know, it's a kaiju movie. It's a niche of a niche. Yes, these fall into the sci-fi categories. They can fall into almost action movies and stuff because there's fights, there's violence, there's gunplay, there's all kinds of cool stuff in this. Critics aren't liking it though. Critics are not liking it very much. I think a lot of the problem with this is a lot of critics who just are not Godzilla fans are seeing this. This would be like me reviewing, you know, oh, I don't know, Unicorn Store is just not a movie for me. Or you know, there's a whole bunch of movies I would say are just not movies that I would be interested in. And that's okay to not like something. It is perfectly fine to not like something. But try and see what it is for you know, your audience. The audience it's intended for. Let's take a look at some of these scores. So the audience score now, and this is after Rotten Tomatoes has protected Princess Brie Larson with her little Captain Marvel. You know, they're completely rehashing the entire Rotten Tomatoes system after, you know, just protect her little fifis because she's so fragile and can't protect herself, right? No, they go through and they changed the entire Rotten Tomatoes formula, so you can't even, as an audience member, you can't leave a score unless you're verified. So, or they're trying to hide the audience scores. So all the verified ratings, like I said, this is probably a good thing because all their little fake bot accounts are biting them in the ass, and you can actually see what is a good movie and what isn't, and how irrelevant the critics are, like the actual official critic. And yes, the picture I use up there as like kind of a background when I'm moving my windows around is right from the movie. That is kind of my complaint about it, is like all the really good money shots were in the trailer. They were right there in the trailer. Oh god, let's take a look at some of these. I gotta go through some of the critic scores, right? This thing is an unholy mess. It's monsters fighting each other. It wasn't a mess. I felt it was very well paced. Was it as good as Kong Skull Island? No. But it was probably one of the best Godzilla movies I've seen in a long time. And Godzilla movies are very, very much, they follow a formula. They're about giant monsters stomping buildings and fighting. That's all they really are. You know, let's not pretend that they're high art here. Let's not pretend that they're anything that they're not. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I am a huge Godzilla fan. Right? I love the movies because they're just dumb fun sometimes. You know, sometimes you just want to see a couple of monsters beat each other up, right? Come on, camera, focus with me. Focus. It'll focus a bit. There we go. Sometimes you want to see a couple of monsters, you know, punching each other out. It's fine with me, and I'm okay with that. The problem that we see with Rotten Tomatoes is, like, I think they just don't understand. The classic face-off arrives in an emotional vacuum rather than as an earned catharsis. The big fight never feels like a payoff. See, this seems like somebody who is probably looking more for your superhero genre. That's what I would imagine. This guy is probably looking more for your superhero genre. These are animals, and they treat them like they're animals. You know, that's what they got right with Kong Skull Island. They treated him like a giant animal, like a giant ape. You know, these are like Ghidorah. I love how cute he was. Just his little heads, you know, snapping at each other like you know, like you would if you're, it's like a litter of puppies or something, or kitties. It was adorable at times, and he's terrifying because he's a giant freaking snake dragon monster from space, right? I love that. They do treat them like they're animals and like they're beings, though, and they don't. What can you do with an animal other than give him a little bit of an expression, a little bit of personality? And that's one of the things they did. And this guy gave it a good score. It only requires awesome monsters, epic fight scenes, and some subtle social commentary. There was a little subtle social commentary there. I'm not gonna lie. There was a bit of an environmental message that, hey, we're kind of wrecking the planet. That's okay. You're there for the monster fights. You're not there so much for everything else. And yeah, the movie did have its issues. I'm not saying it's a perfect movie, but man, it's not 40% bad. It's not like a half the people are gonna hate it bad. And that's one of the biggest problems with Rotten Tomatoes, in my opinion, is that you see that and people think, oh, it's a 40%. That means it's 40% good out of 10. No. That just means that 40% of the critics felt it was below average, right? And you've got to keep in mind that you're getting these, like, New York magazine people and the Observer and the, like, how many of these people are actually just Godzilla fans? How many of these people are just huge, flat, straight out kaiju fans? And I could say the same thing with, you know, any of the other things we see on Rotten Tomatoes, like when we were talking about She-Ra, but She-Ra is kind of for us. You know, She-Ra's for people like me who grew up with it in the 80s, I think. Or something like Star Wars. Star Wars, definitely for somebody like me. So when we see these sort of Rotten Tomatoes scores, you've got to kind of remember these critics aren't... Most of these critics aren't worth a crap. Most of these professional, real, like, magazine, newspaper, online... critics are access media critics. You know, they'll write up a critic. How many of these people still? I mean, this isn't the 1980s or even 90s anymore. We don't need Siskel and Ebert there to tell us what is good about a movie or what's bad about a movie. We can go to YouTube instantly the day it comes out. We don't have to wait until like the weekend or what did they do? I think they did it the weekend before. They got their advanced screeners for a lot of them. So and it would drop around the time that the movie came out, so you know, oh, is this a good movie or not? The culture wasn't so, oh, we have to make opening box office and then that's it. You know, it wasn't so much like that, like we saw with Captain Marvel or any of these Disney movies where they only focus on how big of an opening weekend can we get. And they manipulate everything, like, you know, showing worldwide scores, and that's one of the things that they do. That's one of the things that they do, which we know about. We talk about this quite a lot. Let's look at some of the audience. You know, so we've got the all audience and then we've got the verified audience. Now, this person 6 minutes ago, if the film was out in 96 before Independence Day, it's a blockbuster. The formula is similar in both films. Watch them and trust. You will pick up on the routines. More monster time is cool. Godzilla still got his 15 minutes to shine. Enjoyed watching it in real 3D. Been out of the theater since 2007. And was not disappointed here. And he'll give it a 3 out of 5. I can say that's probably a fair. I would probably go a little higher. I would probably go at least a little higher than that just because I enjoyed it so much. But I can totally see what little nitpicks people have, because I have some nitpicks too, don't get me wrong. I have some nitpicks, and a lot of it's more the CG was a little hard to see. Mothra was a little hard to see because Mothra was just blue on blue. That kind of bothered me. That did kind of bother me because I'm, like I said, huge fan of Mothra. Like, I've had this Mothra since 1993. I don't like a lot of the CG stuff, and that's a me thing. That's my own color blindness, and yeah, I have a lot of difficulty seeing when it's like the same color, like different shades of the same color. That's really tricky on my eyes, so I just kind of blot it all out and just see blue. It's all blue. But then you get a lot of these people, best monster movie of the decade, a lot of great action, best Godzilla movie yet. These are verified. So much fun, better than the 2014 film. See it in IMAX if you can. It was better. I totally agree. This is probably one of the best things you can see. And if you guys are going over to Rotten Tomatoes, please remember to use the audience scores and even the verified audience so that you know they purchase tickets, right? And I've been buying shit through Fandango. I should probably go and review that. So. Stuck to the story, awesome, simply awesome, great movie. You know, and it has a typical Godzilla movie with better graphics. It was very much a typical Godzilla movie. My problem is that, you know, you've got the critics who just hate it. They're just hating it. Doherty isn't quite sure whether to wow us with the hulking immensity of the action scenes or to wag his finger at us for the environmental hubris of our species. That was such a subplot, though. That's kind of in all of these movies. That environmental message, yeah, it's a little outdated. It's a little outdated of a message, but it's pretty much the same. And I didn't want to give you really any spoilers, but yeah, there was some of that. But just not normally the sort of thing you mention in a review, but we see a film that's almost entirely driven by spectacle, and you keep marveling at how slapdash and or unreal everything looks. You start to wonder where the money went. 0 out of, oh, wow. No. I thought it looked really good. The CG that I could see, and like I said, I have nitpicks. It is not, don't let that deter you just because I didn't see enough Mothra. For my personal taste, we saw so much Ghidorah. I am so happy about, hail to the king, man. Sorry, I know Godzilla is like the king of monsters. Where's my cell phone? I used to have Ghidorah on the background picture on my lock screen here. Let me show you my lock screen once I can get rid of all of my, oh my god, voicemail, messages, blah, 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 blah. Go away, voicemail. Now I can't get the voicemail thing off of there. But, here, block the picture. This is my new background, or my phone lock screen, right? That's my new phone lock. It says, it says, in Godzilla we trust, and it's a little, yeah, this stuff, I didn't see a problem. It didn't look cheap to me. It really, really didn't look cheap to me. It didn't. It looked very much like they reused some sci-fi ship sets from some sci-fi series, maybe. That's kind of what it felt like at times. But no, it felt very much like a Godzilla movie. It kind of, it was up there with any of the big, giant, big mean animal thing is going to attack us, and we've got to figure out how to not get killed, right? Or how to stop it. Like the Meg or Rampage or any of these things, right? They're all perfectly good, and I think if you enjoyed the Meg and Rampage, you'd probably enjoy Godzilla too. If you like movies like Unicorn Store, you're not going to enjoy this movie. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. This film is so murky, it looks like it was put together in a dark blue Instagram filter. It wasn't that, and I am a nitpick person. It was dark, it was murky in a lot of places, but you gotta keep in mind, a lot of the stuff is at night. So, yeah, it's a nitpick. Original score is a 1 out of 4. I don't think it's a 1 out of 4 nitpick, though, because I still enjoyed it. It was still, my biggest disappointment was seeing pretty much all the money shots, all the trailer shots, all of the cool stuff like this scene, seeing all that stuff in the trailer. That's kind of my biggest nitpick. And I know you had to like hype up, hey, we got the monsters and we're gonna see the destruction, you're gonna see them stomping things, you're gonna see them squishing cities. And, that I understand, and that was kind of on me, as, like, I didn't want to watch the trailers at first, and that's on me, but, I did want to give it to you guys, too. I wanted to hype you guys up for it, too, because I was starting to get hyped and excited. Rotten Tomatoes, seriously, nobody cares what you say anymore. Rotten Tomatoes, we all know where it's at. We all know you go with YouTube, you go with your friends on Twitter, your friends on Facebook. You go with what people you know and trust their opinions of. We don't care what Rotten Tomatoes says anymore. They've made themselves so damn irrelevant protecting Princess Brie Larson that yes, we're not going to take anything you say seriously. And they started doing that with She-Ra, and they started doing that with Star Wars, and I'm sure they did it with Ghostbusters, and they've been doing it for years, just protecting these movies. When the studios are giving us some of the lowest quality and low passion. And you know what? I reward this movie. I score this a little higher because I can see the passion. And I can see the love that they went. Like, they love Godzilla. This is a movie made by people who love Godzilla. And yeah, there's a few nitpicks in the lighting and a few nitpicks and I didn't see enough Mothra for my taste. And that's just me. There's no reason this movie, not every movie is a 10 out of 10. Sometimes you just have fun popcorn movies. Sometimes you just have a fun time at the movies, right? Sometimes they're just movies to watch. Not everything is the best. Not everything is the worst. Sometimes things are pretty damn good. And this is a pretty damn good movie. So thank you guys so much for watching. I am Mecha Random 42, P.O. Box 1566, Loveland, Colorado 80539. Also, thank you guys so much for all the Godzilla props from the P.O. Box. That like the bank and the Mothra and God, you can see Mecha Godzilla back there, and the figure, all the little figures from the miniatures games and stuff. So thank you guys so much. I do really appreciate it. And if I lost any of the unboxing streams due to whatever YouTube and whatever other craziness were happening, I apologize, but I do try and show this stuff off on the videos. And as always, I will see you on Midnight's Edge After Dark, Creepy Little Book, next live stream, next video. Bye! Thanks for watching! If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button, and if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video!